Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. This video I'm going to say some more of my hot anime takes. I think they're hot takes, I don't know. Anyways, I think if the big three came out, I'd be like, I am a big One Piece fan. And I'd be like, anyways. I don't know if they'd be nearly as popular if they came out today. I don't know if that's a hot take. But I think it would be. And I don't think Dragon Ball Z would be as popular if it came out today. I also think Dragon Ball Z is trash, to be completely honest with you. I think JJK is mid. Same thing with Demon Slayer. I think both of them are mid. That doesn't mean they're bad. And I think the whole anime community has the word mid mixed up with stuff where they don't think that actually means it's... I'm not saying it's bad. Like, it's a good watch. I think Hell's Paradise is mid. I think those three shows are on the same level. Is that a hot take? I don't know. I think Chainsaw Man is not mid. I think it's better than them. I think it has a more compelling story. I think it's better. I just think the mangaka is weird. But he's not trying. Sorry if you guys hear my cat. She's meowing a lot. I think A Silent Voice is one of the best movies ever made. Not just an anime. It is my favorite anime movie. Maybe the Chainsaw Man Risa arc might have taken its spot. I don't know. It's a close battle, but I also don't think it's a romance series. Maybe stuff happens in the manga, but like it never really felt like one. It felt like a redemption story of a piece of shit kid that bullied the fuck out of this disabled girl and is trying to make amends for it. It's also like, what I said when he like rips the hearing aid out of her ear. It's one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in anime. Not gonna lie, and like it's one of the few anime that like I legitimately could not stand the main character at all, and like his redemption was incredible. And I think it is an underrated series or movie. I don't think people talk about it enough. I don't think people understand how good it is. It is one, if not the GOAT of anime movies, and it legitimately made me feel things I haven't felt in a long time in a movie. Like, I love that the character isn't, able-bodied. Like, I love the message it has. I love, where the story went, and I love that the mother was, like, so apologetic, and, like, he was a piece of shit. Like, you can't sit there and tell me he wasn't. What he did was terribly wrong to this girl and to their family. Like, that stuff is not cheap. That stuff is not, that stuff costs a lot of money. Like, hearing aids aren't cheap. And to have this kid in your class do that to you, and then her get bullied, but then the stuff the kids did wasn't any better and either. Like, straight up, like, the way they treated him wasn't good either, and made it seem like it was all on him. And then, like, him trying to forgive them, and then him not, seeing people anymore, and like all that message and stuff was great, and I loved every second of that. And I'm like, this is why I think it's one of the best movies of all time, not just anime. I don't think it's talked enough. But I don't consider it a romance series because I'm like, something's got to happen in the manga where like they get together or something, because it just doesn't feel like a romance series at all. Which is fine. I don't need it to be a romance series. It was perfect the way it was, the way everything laid out, and like, in a certain way. I also think there are some isekai that are better than JJK. I think, like, right now I'm watching the Slime isekai, and I'm like, Rimuru Tempest. I'm like, I think the fact of the matter that his life is so, put together and organized and stuff, I think is kind of insane. And like the way he rules his kingdom, like that's what I wanted out of an anime, and it was the isekai I got. Do I think it deserves to be as popular as it is? I don't know. It's a good story, so if the story is good enough, then it shouldn't matter. That's my honest take. Also, I've never seen Bleach, but that's not really a hot take. But I heard somebody say that Bleach was the best out of the big three, which I don't know. Like, Naruto is one of my favorite series. I have a hard time ranking it because I saw it as a child. And I think part 1 of Naruto is better. And I think it has more heart and soul, and it has the better arcs of the entire series is in part 1. I think Zabuza is a better villain than most of the villains in part, and then in Shippuden. I don't think Pain was that great of a villain. I think his backstory was interesting. I think Jiraiya's death was sad, and I think it pushed the narrative of the story forward. So, it worked. I wish One Piece did that more, like where people died, but then it would be, it wouldn't be, a shonen, it'd be a seinen, which is fine. I think that Orochi's a good villain. I've already discussed that. I think he's a good villain, not a good character. I don't like him as a character, but I think he's an amazing villain. I think Rob Lucci's a terrible villain. I think Dio's terrible. Dio is not... I don't understand how... I'm going to say this again in this video. I don't understand how Dio's popular. He's one of the most boring villains of all time. And he's one of the most boring villains in JoJo's. He's just a villain to be a villain. I think One Piece has the best representation of different races and sexualities, genders, all that stuff. I think they have the best representation. I also think they have the best representation of slavery and racism in a story. I think One Piece handled it I think My Hero handled it really badly, because it was just thrown in their last moment, and it wasn't really discussed very much in the series to be as prevalent as it was in the war. And yeah, also I love that Brooke's getting some shine, but I won't spoil any of that, but it's great. I think Hunter has one of the most savage moments, but that's not really a hot take. I haven't watched Yu Yu. That's probably a hot take in anime. Yu Yu Hakusho, I've never seen it. Also, I've never seen all of Dragon Ball. I think the worst anime of all that I've ever sat through, probably. I think I sat through 50% of Bobobo. And it's probably the worst anime I've ever sat through that much of. I think that you could take almost any Straw Hat and give them their own series, and it would be just as interesting. Not just as interesting, but interesting enough, and it'd succeed as an anime. Any of the Straw Hats. I say Usopp, Nami, Brooke, Chopper, Frankie, but I think that One Piece is only as popular as it is because of Luffy. And I think it is insane if you watch One Piece and you don't like Luffy. If you don't like Luffy, you probably should stop. I think Golden Wind is the best JoJo part. I think that's what it's called. I think that when Naruto lost the plot, this might be one of my hottest takes. Shippuden Naruto lost the plot. It lost the heart. It lost the soul. Let me explain. So part 1 of Naruto was very much about Naruto being an underdog. Naruto, chasing this dream that anyone can do what if you set your mind to something, you can do it. That was the belief. He was this underdog kid. Then you learn more and more about him, and he is not an underdog. He was never an underdog. He is the last, Uchiha, or not Uchiha, he's the last Uzumaki. He comes from this, terrific background of proud shinobi, this clan of proud shinobi. His dad is the 4th Hokage, one of the strongest Hokage, one of the strongest people to ever, thing. He was one of the few people that had a run on site order. If you saw him, a run on site. And the fact of the matter is, he was never an underdog. He was the reincarnation of some fucking god, a deity. That's when Naruto lost the plot. right after the fucking pain arc, Naruto lost the plot. And I'm like, I didn't. Also, like, Naruto, like, never used any. He didn't seem special anymore. Like, he didn't seem like. In part one, I felt like he was creative with how he fought and he was creative with how he did things. I didn't feel that at all in Shippuden. Like, it was just spam Rasengan until you went into spam Shadow Clones. Like, Naruto had, bro, when he was fighting Gaara and he turned the frog into the nine-tailed fox, that was that was beautiful. He was in his bag with that shit. And now it's just Naruto doesn't, like, I don't know. I wish he would, box some more, bro, instead of just, throwing Rasengans out there like it's fucking water. And, like, I don't know. I think my guy's a better teacher than Kakashi. But let's get off Naruto because I don't think anyone wants to sit here and listen to this man talk about Naruto all day. Death Note. I don't think this is a hot take, but I want to say it anyways. Death Note, the ending was garbage. Like, I don't think I've seen an ending of an anime that was good, to be honest with you. Like, some are, like, passable, but, like, I don't know. And also, I think it's really sad that most of these isekai only get one season. Like, I want to watch more of it. I want to watch, like, when I watch anime, sometimes I want to watch garbage. As you would say, I wouldn't say the isekai that I watch are garbage, but I'm like the fucking one about them being a fucking vending machine, garbage. Like, let's call a spade a spade. That shit's trash. I'd be like, I watched the whole first season and it wasn't entertaining in the slightest. It's trying too hard to be funny. But, like, if I were to name the top 6 isekai, which I could easily do, it's Overlord, not Redo over healer, ReZero, Konosuba. So Overlord, ReZero, Konosuba. Then you got Slime. Then you got, I think Sword Art Online's probably 5. And Mushoku Tensei is probably 6. But, like, it's sad to me that, like, when these companies make these anime, they make some of them look like fucking dog shit. And it's like, I'm like, I think One Punch Man would probably be one of the best watch shows of all time if it got the anime treatment it got for the first season on any other ones. I think that Vinland Saga is a cinematic masterpiece. I think the story that he is telling with that, I think, goes above and beyond what most anime do. And I think any person could sit down and watch Vinland Saga and like it. The story of Thorfinn is incredible. It made me fall in love with Vikings. Because Vikings are cool. Like, they're so cool. And I don't understand how you could sit and watch that and not think that Vikings are badass. And, like, the warrior pride and, like, what Thorfinn did for his dad. And then realizing that once Askeladd died, that, like, his father figure died. And, like, his revenge was meaningless. That's beautiful. And the second season is incredible, too. Like, his growth as a character and, like, how he's just not an angry guy. And, like, I don't know, it's just, if you haven't watched it, you need to. You need to. But I don't think I've said anything really spicy yet. This might be a hot take. Never mind, that's, Bleach, I have never been interested in watching Bleach. Never. Like, I don't know if that's a hot take. I know it is one of the big 3, and it's one of the ones you should watch. But I haven't heard anything good about the anime at all, to be honest with you. And it's kind of sad, because, like, I want to like it. I want, to be like, man, this anime is good. But, like, even the character designs are just like, eh. And I'm like, what I've heard about it just sounds like cap on top of cap on top of cap. I also just don't have the time to watch, like, I know I said that about, like, Naruto or One Piece, but, like, I just don't think I have the desire or the time to watch Bleach that I would want to give a show like that. Classroom of the Elite's really good. That's another series where it's like, I'm really into these series that are like the main characters, like a badass, like he's smarter than everyone else, and then everyone else he plays chess while they play checkers type shit. That's how I would describe Classroom of the Elite. He's playing chess. I don't understand a lot of the shit he says is fucking cap as fuck. Like, let's call a spade a spade. And like this slow introduction to him being like a badass is great. But you know, not every series you can watch will be a 10 out of 10. I need to watch Hell's Paradise season 2, but like I never hear anyone talk about it, which is kind of sad. I want it to be good. I really liked. I mean, the first season was just weird. And Kaiju number 8, which is a great show. I need to watch season 2. Spy Family is really good. These are all anime I would say are beginner anime, and I've watched all of them. Just I haven't finished them because I don't know. I think I'm kind of like I've legitimately dedicated my life to watching anime for the last probably 8 years. I'm kind of burnt out. Like a show has to be like what percentage out of 10? Probably like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 for me to like immediately want to watch them. And I'm like, I actually prefer the binge method, not gonna lie. The Netflix method where they then because then I have something to watch for a while and then I'm excited to watch it, which you would think would make me want to watch like Bleach or something like that. No. Also, the anime that I've watched the most, like I've watched My Hero up to part like 5 like 3 times, but like the anime I have watched the most is part 1 of Naruto. I have watched it so many times. It is probably it was my guilty pleasure show as a kid was Naruto. Yeah, anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.